Missing in Death, book 29 and a half. And next week is book 30, Fantasy in Death. And we're only 4 books away, depending on how you look at it, of New York to Dallas. The hardest book of the series for the character. She's got to go through it. It's been building up for over 30 books. It started in Naked in Death, and we've worked our way through it. We've learned all the ins and outs, and it's going to come to a head in New York to Dallas. It's the only book that doesn't say in death in it. So here we are, book 29, a short story back in the olden days. We liked it when Nora did 2 hardcover J.D. Robbs and 2 novellas a year. We don't do the novellas anymore. We do 2 J.D. Robbs, sometimes 3 Noras, sometimes 2 Noras and a standalone, but no more novellas for Eve Dallas. And Eve Dallas is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Her husband is Rock. Her partner is Peabody. Peabody's partner in life is McNabb, but he's also a detective in EDD. That's the electronic division. Feeney is her former mentor. Now he's captain of EDD. We have Rock, her husband, the billionaire. Somerset, the majordomo. Nadine, our reporter. News now. Nadine has her own show now. This is happening now. She's also a reporter for Channel 75. And we have Feeney and Nadine and Trina and Mavis Freestone, the rock star best friend who had Bella a few books ago, and Leonardo, her husband, and Baxter and Trueheart, people that works in Eve's division. And this is the Do Louise book series. And if you could hit the like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. So I went through the books a couple years ago. And this is massively, massively, massively foggy. And I made it massively, massively worse. But anyways, a couple years ago, I went through all the books and reviewed all the books. But they're my comfort series, and I wanted to read them again, but I didn't want to read them again. Use time to reread these and not talk about them to you. So, now we're doing character spoilization. No plots, just 100% character spoilizations. This is a short story. It's only 100 pages. So we're just going to keep this on the brief side because Fantasy in Death, I was like, oh, this will be a short book. Fantasy in Death's going to be about an hour. We're going to try and keep it shorter, but I know me. I love these books. I love to indulge. I love to read these books. I enjoy these books so much. So, anyway, Eve gets a call that there has been a death on the ferry. Do you ever take the ferry? The ferry goes, does the Circle Line, does the tour around New York, and you do the Statue of Liberty and all that other kind of stuff. If you ever go across the Verrazano, you see the Statue of Liberty. But anyways, racing across New York Harbor in a turbo wasn't how Lieutenant Eve Dallas expected to spend her afternoon. She played a second lead that morning to her partner primary role in the unfortunate demise of Vicky Trenda, the third wife of the unrepentant Alan Trenda, who smashed her skull with an inferior bottle of California Chardonnay. According to the widower, it wasn't accurate to say he bashed her brains out when she simply didn't have any. While the prosecutor and the counsel for the defense hammered out a plea agreement, Eve had made a dent in her paperwork. She hates paperwork. Just absolutely hates paperwork. Discussed strategy with 2 of her detectives on an ongoing case and congratulated another on closing one. A pretty good day until now she and Peabody, her partner, were speeding across the water in a boat she judged to be about the size of a surfboard toward the orange bulk of a ferry stalled halfway between Manhattan and Staten Island. It's absolutely mad, Peabody says. Why? Jesus, Dallas, we're getting a boat ride. We're on water. Half the time you forget Manhattan's an island. That's what I like about it. Oh, out here it makes you wonder how come it doesn't sink. All that weight, the buildings, the streets, the people. It should go down like a stone. Come on, Peabody said. Statue of Liberty, she's the best. Eve couldn't argue. She'd come close to dying inside that landmark, fighting radical terrorists bent on blowing it up. Even now, she could look at its lines, its grandeur, and see her husband bleeding, clinging to an edge outside the proud face. They'd survived that one, she mused, and Rourke had defused the bomb, saved the day. Symbols mattered because they fought and bled. People could chug by on the ferry every day and snap their pictures of freedom. That was fine. That was the job. Why she didn't get was why homicide had to zip off the island because the Department of Transportation cops couldn't find a passenger. Ah, so we handled the case. So, they're getting ready to go, and something happens. Let's see. Oh, she calls Rock. They're finishing up. They're gonna leave the boat, the ferry boat, if they've done their investigation, and they're getting ready to leave. And she pulled out her link when it signaled. Saw Rock's personal code on the readout. Hey, back. You're out in the harbor. The ferry incident? Yeah. How much is leaked? Not a great deal. Certainly nothing that speaks of murder. Who's dead then? That's a question. I'm hoping the lab can tell me. I'm heading there, and depending on the answer, I might be late getting home. As it happens, I'm downtown and was hoping to ask my wife out to dinner. Why don't I meet you at the lab? Then, depending on the answer you get, we'll go from there. Okay. Oh, and you can bring the bribe for Dickhead. Always happy to bribe local officials. I'll see you soon. Isn't it nice? Peabody asked when Eve stuck her link back in her pocket. Having a guy. Eve started to shrug it off, then decided the turbo pilot couldn't hear them. Besides, there was no reason not to take a few minutes for nonsense. It doesn't suck. It really doesn't. Having a really cute guy like Jake flirt with me has some frost. But knowing I'm going to be snuggled up with McNabb tonight, that's nice. Why do you always have to put you and McNabb and sex in my head? It brings pain no blocker can cure. Snuggling isn't sex. It's before or after sex. I especially like those after sex snuggle moments. When you're all warm and loose like a couple of sleepy puppies. I'm getting horny. So glad you shared that with me. Let's try to get this perky investigation out of the way so you can go get your puppy snuggles. You know, I got this new outfit. I've been saving it for a night one. No, don't go there, Eve warned. I swear by all that's holy, I'll chuck you overboard, then order the turbo to run over you while you putter in the water. Harsh. Maybe that's what the killers did. Just chuck the victim in the water, then jumped in after the body wearing scuba gear. And one more. I could just sit here and read the whole book. Somerset, Rourke's man about everything, wasn't lurking in the grand foyer when Eve walked in. She spied the fat cat, Galahad, perched on the newel post like a furry gargoyle. He blinked his bicolored eyes twice, then leaped down with a thud to saunter over and rub against her legs. Where's Mr. McBray? She asked as she scratched between the cat's ears. Stop. Rourke didn't bother to sigh. The pinching and poking between his wife and his surrogate father were not likely to end any time soon. Somerset's setting things up in my private office. We need to use the unregistered equipment. Any serious digging on your victim is going to send up flags to certain parties, and there's more. If I don't dig up the Vic through proper channels, it's going to look very strange. You have Peabody on that, he reminded her, and you can do some of your own for form, but you won't find what you're looking for through legit channels. He's got the unregistered. comp you got. There's this computer police in the future, and it's comp you got, and they watch, and if you try to invade certain files, try to get into privacy files, their alerts go off, and they come visit and knock on the door. I just love these. I just love these books. This will probably be the shortest one, but missing in death. Does she find the missing person? Does she find the dead body? We'll have to check it out. And be prepared to hang out with Fantasy and Death next week. And if you haven't watched Promises and Death from last week, go watch it. Or if you haven't watched the other 30, start at Naked and Death, Glory and Death, and Mortal and Death. All of them. Check them all out. And have a good one. Oh, and hey, don't forget to check out Friday's Star Trek Next Generation recaps, or Star Trek Voyager recaps on Fridays. Fridays If Then, Sundays unboxing, Mondays flashback Mondays, and of course my daily book reviews, and of course my darling JD Robb on Saturdays. Have a good one.